Okay, so after using this property, the first thing we need to use is we need to change the behavior of the property. Go to the field properties, behavior properties, event change, refresh this section. Then I'm adding a different layout within the same section. So anyway, I'm not saving to the database here. I'm adding my own fields. So directly we can add the fields in the UI also if you are not saving to the database. For example, I'm adding text box for each field. Normally you can set the properties control here. If you, in any case, if you want to change the control, go to the field properties and from here we can change the control. So in the drop down, it will display all the controls according to your requirement. You can change the control names. So all the controls will be there. From here also we can add the properties. So here we will give the property name. So directly click on dot option. So like this we can add the properties in the directly in the UI also. Instead of dragging and dropping, we can also add it this way also. Now if I want to display this layout, if I select, for example, if I select the loan type as home loan, it should display this layout. For that, go to layout properties. There is an option called visible when option. So when this layout should be visible means select the property loan type. So when loan type equal to actually what is the value there, we have to give the exact value. So home loan is the value. Okay. Save this. Once after adding the condition, you can save that layout. Meanwhile, within the same section, I'm adding one more layout. add the text input. I'm not adding any values, only for the display purpose I'm creating these layouts. Now go to this layout properties. In the visible when option, add the property name equal to personal loan. Now save the section. Open init flow. So first of all, by default it will display the first layout only. When you select the type, according to that it will display the different layout. Same thing we can do it for the radio button also. Instead of drop down, you can tag a radio button, so there we can change the type. Okay, for that only change is, if you take radio button in the user interface, you have to change the behavior as on click option. For the radio button, the behavior will be on click, and for this, for the drop down, the behavior will be on change. Okay, try this. Like this we can add any number of conditions according to the requirement. So simple thing we used in the real-time applications also. Okay. Try to practice. If you don't get, let me know, I'll tell you. So try with the radio button also. Checkbox, I'll tell you at the time of reports. I'll tell you, because in personal edition some options they are not given. So I will tell you that one. Regarding the checkbox, I will show you that one, because the reports, the list view, they are not given in the advanced category. Okay, I will check and I will tell you about the checkbox. So checkbox right now I cannot show you. It will not work here. Now I will show in another layout so that you can understand about the checkbox. So at the reports, when I tell you about the reports, at that time I will tell you that one. And another thing is import and export. So import and export means some migration. So means after creating the application, So how to migrate the total application into another environment? So the first thing is we have to export the what are the things we have done in the application, and later we need to import into the different environment. Present we are working in the developer environment, right? So in the even in the real time also I'm saying. So what are the things they have created in the developer environment? They have to export all the things, and they need to import into production server. They need to import into the production server. So it will maintain different types of files. So when you are exporting the data from the developer environment, so it will be in the jar format. So the type of file will be jar format. And when you import into the production server, so what are the, so you will have multiple jar files will be there. So those multiple jar files we will add in one zip format. So that zip file they will extract into the, so or they will import into the production server. And directly we cannot do the export option in PEGA. We need to create a separate rule for that. See, we cannot directly export all the data whatever we have created in the application. We need to manually add all the things, then only we can export the data into the, so what are the file, some jar file will be, it will be saved, so then only we can export the data. For exporting the data here we need to create one rule. For exporting the data we have to create one rule called product rule. In the product rule we have to include each and every instance. So every instance means every rule whatever we have created in the application from class to the, so any rule whatever we have created in the this application, each and every individual rule we have to add in the product rule. So then when we click on generate option, it will save the product in the form of jar format. So like that in the application, the real-time applications, so they will create n number of products, like a 50 products or like that, because according to the uh, module they are working on that application. For each and every module they will take a separate product file. So they will at a time they will not create for the total application. So they will create each and every, for each and every module they used to create a separate product file, and they will club all those files and they will import into the production server. Actually this will be the task. So until creating the product file, the task is developer task, and later exporting and importing will be done by the business analyst. So how to create a product rule, I'll show it to you. And see, when we are exporting, so before exporting we need to create this thing, right? So here we need to add every individual rule in the whatever we have created in the application. So many options we'll get. So first we have to add the application name, then which rule set you are using, add the rule set name, then class instances. And one more thing is, for every rule whatever we are creating in the application, there will be one predefined class instance will be there. So we need to add the class instance. That one I'll tell you how to add that one. All the class names will be available in the drop down. We have to include all the class instances. Then we need to add individual class instances. See, actually in the personal edition the task is somewhat difficult when we compare with the enterprise edition, because in the real time enterprise edition will have a filter option to add all the individual instances, but the filter option will not work in the personal edition. It will display so many classes, like so many predefined existing rules. So we have to select from all those things, some hundreds of thousands of, based on the rule type it is going to display so many predefined classes. From that we need to select our class instances. Somewhat difficult task in the personal edition, but I will show for some rules, same process you can. So in the real time, when you go to the real time environment, same process will be applied there also. But in the personal edition, so the task will be somewhat difficult here when we compare with the enterprise edition. And product rule application, rule set, we will add class instances and individual class instances. And if we have any already, if any jar files are created, means already a product is created, means we can add the product also. Means, so if we have any jar files available, we can add the existing jar files to this product rule. So later we can create the product. So when we create the product, it will load all the data. So what are the things we have loaded in this product file? It will load all these things and it will save in a, so it will ask for the name, file name. So for that we have to give a name and it will save in a jar format. And this jar file we will export. So there is a export mode will be there, and we need to export that file. Automatically it will be saved in the server. Okay, like this. So this is the process until the product creation. Developers will involve. So later importing. So right now we don't have the server to import in the real time. So directly just there is a import option will be there. So they will, what are the server, what are the file saved in the server. So they will import that file and move into the production server. Okay, so the process, everything is done from the, so first of all, for creating a product we have to do it from the sysadmin category. From the sysadmin category we need to create the product rule. Okay, how to do that means, actually in the previous versions, if we take the 6.2 or 6.1, there we don't have the export and import options. Import and export options they did not provide in the personal edition. Only in the administrator operator ID we have that import and export options in the lower versions, like before 6.2, or say you can say before 6.3 versions. But from the 6.3 version, in all the operator IDs, so even in the system architect, administrator, business analyst, so in every ID we have the import and export. In the real time, by default we'll have the import and export option. I'm saying about the personal edition. In the real time means even in the lower versions, by default we'll get the import and export options. But in the 6.2, we don't have the import and export options in the system architect ID. So only we have in the administrator operator ID. But in the present version, we can do it directly from the system architect only. Okay, go to the sysadmin. Oh, first thing we are creating the product rule. Go to sysadmin, click on product, give any name. Okay, enter the version like 01.01.01. Click on create option. Okay, we'll get an option like this. First thing is application names to include. Add the application name. Version. Next, rule sets to include. In the real time, we'll add these things: minimum rule set version, maximum rule set version. We'll not have in the personal edition. Next, class instances to include. Here, class instance is nothing but for every rule there will be one predefined class instance will be there. For example, all the class names in the application will be stored under a rule instance called, or a class instance called rule-obj-class. So all the class names in your application are stored under rule-obj-class, and all the properties are stored under the class instance called rule-obj-property. So like this, for every rule we need to add the class instance. So the main class instance will be there. We need to add that class instance. Okay, that one we are adding here. For example, what are the things we have created in the application? We have to go add all the predefined class instances. For example, first I am adding the class instance for the class. It will display in the dropdown. You can see there rule-obj-class is the class instance for all the classes. This means Paytm-app module 1. So all these things will be available under this class instance. So, but the filter option will be there. This one it will work in the enterprise edition. Even if I add the filter also, it will not work here, because the list view option is not given in a proper way in the personal edition. Even if we add also, it will display some error message. Okay, skip this thing. For properties, rule-obj property is the class instance, and if we take process, under the process we have flow, service level and validation, right? Rule-FN for adding the flows, rule-FN obj-FN flow is the class instance, and for service levels, rule-FN obj-FN service level, and for validations, rule-FN obj-FN validate. And when coming to the decision rules, the class instance will be rule-declare- for adding the decision trees, rule-declare-decision tree. For decision table, rule-decision table. For expressions, rule-declare-expressions. For constraints, rule-declare-constraints. And if you have any other declarative rules, we can add here. So on change is there, still we have not done. So declare on change. We'll have declare pages. Declare pages also we have not done. Okay, coming to any other rules. Under the user interface, we have section, flag action and harness. For adding the section, the class instance is rule-html-section. For the section, the class instance is rule-html-section. And for flag action, rule-obj-flag action is the class instance. And for harness, rule-html-harness is the class instance. Then so under the technical we have activity, rule fn obj fn, activity. So if we have some other rules, so later in the coming sessions we will be adding the connectors like rule fn connect hyphen soap, rule fn connect hyphen. Suppose if you are connecting to any Java services, if you are connecting to any external server, rule fn connect hyphen SQL. Next, under the obj rules, most probably will have correspondence, and we'll see rule hyphen obj hyphen list view for reports. Suppose if you generate any reports, it will be saved under the list view. Then another type is summary view, rule hyphen obj hyphen summary view. Any when conditions you are given in the activity, so actually separately there is a when condition, so instead of that we are doing it in the activity only, no need to add those things. So anything is left, some work parties we have given, right? So like this, according to, so what are the things you have done in the application, you can add all those rules here. So all these are class instances to include, save it before. Sometimes again in the while adding the individual class instances it will become very slow and it will display some error messages. So instead of before going to the individual class instances, save the product. So otherwise again you need to create it from the scratch. Okay, see in the real time you can add the filter option also, but here in the personal edition it will not work here. In the real time scenarios you can add the filter options, means so what are the things, suppose if you add the obj class, so what are the class names you want to display, we can add in the filter option. And coming to the next category, so this is a somewhat difficult task here in the personal edition, individual class instances to include. Individual class instance means suppose the class names are there, Paytm-app, module1 app, so module1 class, so these class names we have to include. So manually we have to include a individual class instance, means individual class names we need to include. And if you take properties, under the data model we have all these properties, we have to add all these properties manually. Okay, it will be add here under the label option and key option, all the, so every rule will be we have to add in the individual instances. For that, first we need to add the class instance. For example, for the classes, the class instance is rule hyphen obj hyphen class. Select from the drop down. Now click on query. It will take some time here because it is loading so many classes. So many classes will be there in the backend. From this all the predefined classes you have to select your class name. For example, your class name is Paytm- is abstract, Paytm- app is a concrete, and there is one subclass available. Module 1 is a surplus. We have to add all these 3 classes. This what type, so you have to manually add each and every rule. Okay, here we have your class names. Okay, select these class names and click on OK option. That is why I said in personalization it is somewhat difficult. In the real time you will get only those things. What are the things you have under your application? It will only display those things. Okay, but in the personal edition, some predefined everything will be displayed in the class instance. Okay, now for property means it will take so much time, it will exceed that one. I am not showing for the property because it will take so much time to load all the properties. I am going to another rule. For example, I am opening a flows rule obj flow. Click on query. Wait till it is loading. So if you click on anything means again it will, we need to again open the window. Because in the personalization will have a less memory, right? Maybe it will take some time.
Hari,
Yes.
so we have added each and every class, right? The predefined class.
Yes.
So those will be added for each application or each project, right?
Yes, each project.
So whenever we do the product, we move these all things to the production, we have to add all the classes which are
Yeah.
we
Suppose,
have added just now.
see, whenever suppose in the future if you are adding doing some modifications to the application, so only what are the things you have newly added, we can only add those things. So no need to add
But then,
every time there is
yeah,
no.
but
Yes, tell me.
okay, but the data table and the decision tree, we have added those, right?
Data.
So those ones, yeah.
Okay, come on, tell me that.
Yeah, those properties will be there for everything, right? For even if it's a change or if it's a new project. So for most of the applications, we need to add those, right?
Yes.
So I don't like. I'm as per my curiosity, I'm asking why they didn't add these, because we use these for all the applications, right? Even though it's a new application or if it's an existing application,
So
change for an existing application.
all the application means maybe for example if you are working in a new application means, so these are all the things, right? So in under this application, suppose if you are already working on existing application, so existing applications at one time they'll create the export all the data, right? So again every time there is no need to export everything. So in the future if you are doing any modifications means only those modifications you will add for the existing application. For the new application, for the first time you will need to add all these things.
Okay. So you mean like if we are making any change for the application, most of the times we don't create table and trees, list and trees and again and again.
Yes.
Maybe we can change the UI. So that's why
Okay.
like we can add the UI.
Only we will add the UI and what are the new properties or any logic you have given, some activities if you have created, you will be adding only those things.
Okay, but for the new application, why can't they give that as a default? Because we don't need to add everything again and again, right? So these will be common for all the new applications, right?
Yeah, new applications, yes. So you will not get this many rules in the real time, that's what I told you. So there you will get the filter option. Suppose if you want to get only those particular rule, you can get only those things. So that's what I said. In the real time you will have so many filter options will be there. But it will not work in this personal edition, personal server.
Yeah.
You will get in the enterprise editions, don't worry. So you can only filter, it is easy there. The task becomes easy in the enterprise edition. So when we compare with this personal edition, there directly you can extract only those rule. It will automatically only display that rule. Directly we can add that one. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And one more thing is every rule will be saved for 2 times because one will be the implementation layer and one will be the framework layer. So that one I will tell you at the time of DCO. So every time when you create any rule, it will be saved. So it will create 2 things. So in 2 areas it will create one under the rule set and one under the implementation layer. So that is you can call as framework layer and implementation layer. Suppose in the future if you want to reuse the same application, suppose if you want to use the same application in any other different application and if you want to reuse the sum of the rules, so we can directly use the framework. So means whenever you create any task, by default it will be so saved in the framework layer and the implementation layer. So automatically it will, by default it will create 2 rules. So same rule it will create for 2 times. You can select both the rules. That one I will tell you in the coming session. So in the DCO I will show you how automatically it will create the layers. So right now I cannot show. So I will show you in the next session. I think I showed the DCO. I did not show the DCO, right?
No.
Okay. So in the coming 2 sessions, I'll show that one.
Okay.
So like this, we need to manually add all the things. I'm not doing for all the rules. Just I'm showing 1 or 2 rules. You can follow this process because in personal edition, you will not export, right? So don't worry. But the process I'm showing. This is the process we'll follow.
While selecting these, if we miss one of the class or one of the instance or property,
Yeah, then it
so will it?
No, it will not work properly. Compulsory, we need to include everything.
So will it give any error message or?
Here it will not show any error message. So we have to compulsory
Okay.
manually compulsory. We need to include all the things. So we have to check.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, we have to check each and every rule while adding the things. So everything whatever we have under the flows. So flow wise, see in the real time directly it will show all those things. So here we are doing it in a different way, right? Personal edition. So in the enterprise edition, you will not get all the other things. So only that particular application, particular rule set you will get. Okay, and that particular rule set, what are the things you have? Only it will display those things. So you will not in any case you will not miss anything. If you miss, you can add later,
So we can add it later.
because again they will test whether it is working or not. In the production server they will test everything.
Okay.
Okay, same process we need to do for all the remaining rules also. I'm not doing for other things, so we will follow the same thing. So I will show for one more rule. For example, decision table I will show you. Rule hyphen declare hyphen decision table. Click on query. So under this application we have two decision tables. Okay, only one decision table. Loan table is the okay. So this is the table. So similarly you used to add all the remaining rules also. You can do it, you can practice from your side. Same process, you have to select the class instance, click on query and add the rules. So because it will take so much time. Same process. So just to select the class instance. So I have given all the class instances, right? You can copy paste. So you can come row wise. So first add the class instance query, and next add another class instance. Click on query and select the rule names. Then next the option is select jar files to include in the application. Means already if a product is created, it will save the jar file in the server. So in the product server. So we can click on query jars. If any jar files are there, means we can add those jar files to this product file. Means already for some other modules a product file is created. What we are doing is we are including those product files into this product. Means we are including all those things. So all the jar files we are including in one product file. So like that, if there are any jar files available, means it will display here. Right now we don't have any other files. Just leave it. Finally, click on allow unlocked rule set versions and save the product. After saving, click on create product file. Okay, give any name. Same name you have to give, paid TM product. Then it will load all the data from from your developer server. So from the rule set and everything, it will take all the data, whatever the things you have added here, and it will save in a jar format. And that file we have to add here. So how to export that product means, go to PEGA logo, application, distribution, export. Okay, you will get the export option. Select the mode of export. In the mode of export, select by product. Okay, rule set name. Here we have to add the file name. So what is the file name you have given to this? It will take some time to load. Okay, anyway it is not responding. So it will save the file after it will take some time here. or else again you need to create the product file. See, normally it will take around 5 to 10 GB of space from your C drive. Don't save this thing because it will take so much memory from your C drive. So it will, by default it will save in the C drive. Okay, just to try that one. So if you want to export means from here we'll export. From here we'll do the export thing. 1 second. Okay, from there you can do the export. So after saving that product file, so we can add that jar file. It will click on. So just click on next option. So automatically it will export into the. So that product file will be exported into the server. So but it will take so much memory. But don't use that export option. Okay, so we have to give the modus by product. So in the product it will display their product name, Paytm product. So enter any file name for the zip file. So and click on export archive. Okay, again it will take so much time to load. So this is the process. And later on, if you want to perform the export means same process. Do it from the. You will not do the import and export. Don't worry. So import will from here we will not use the import option. From the production server they will use the import option. So the file they will save in some server. So from the server they will import the. So what are the exported file? They will import from the server. Okay, so that is the process. Any queries? Okay, next class will be on Monday. So meanwhile you can practice the. So any pending sessions you have, you can practice and you can get back to me with the doubts.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So any queries? I'll clarify in the Monday session.
Hello, Hari.
Yes, tell me.
Yeah. Actually, in developer environment, suppose if you log in as a system architect, there we created one application. There we are testing right currently.
Okay.
Okay. If suppose ultimately the end user how will test the application and how will use the application.
So there also some senior developer will test it. So in the production server also they will check whether it is working or not.
Suppose in Java environment we will create one website, right? First initially we will test in the developer environment. Ultimately we will do that.
So here also, so first in the we'll be developing in the developer environment. So later we'll export all the data. So in the production server they'll some in the form of website it will be displayed. So there they will display it. So there all the testing will be done.
Okay.
Okay. So work on it. I will clarify on Monday session.
Okay, sure.